Well, it's 9:05. I guess we should get started.
Yes.
Welcome to this English-heavy boot camp. But this is Brightspace Bootcamp for us here right now, live, and for those in the future watching this in infinite time. So hello. We have a bit of a schedule today, and this particular video is going to be about navigating Brightspace. So I'm going to present the screen and do the thing, and then we'll get started. So. Okay, there it is. It's coming in. Alrighty, so I'm starting off on the Marywood homepage because we actually have a handy dandy link right at the bottom. You can get there from learn.marywood.edu, same link, and even if we change LMSs in 5 years or whatever it is, it'll be learn.marywood.edu. So it's a good thing to remember, but there is a Brightspace link right here on the Marywood homepage. So you just give it a click, and if you aren't already signed in, like I am, you can put in your Marywood U credentials and you'll get to this homepage. So we have a couple sections here that are important to note, and 2 of them are actually across the board, always present on any Brightspace page. So at the top, we have our Minibar, which starts with our Marywood logo, and that brings us back to this very page whenever you click on it. So if you're in a course, you'll see this logo here, and if you ever need to get back here, just give it a click and it brings you back to the Brightspace homepage. Over here on the right, we have the Waffle icon, which is where all of your courses are. You probably won't have a search for a course bar like we do because we're admins and have too many courses, but you should see your courses in a list. And if you don't have any pinned at the top, they will be in order from the most recently accessed to the least frequently accessed. And to pin them to the top, you just want to highlight over this side where there's a little pin, give it a click. And once you refresh the page, it will actually stick to the top and be there until you unpin it. And that just requires clicking the pin one more time. So I do want to note these terms here at the end of every, or at the beginning of every code. This indicates what semester the course is in. So as we keep going through Brightspace, you'll notice there will be some repeats. So you want to make sure you're looking at the right term. So just keep that in mind. So Waffle icon, and then on to the communication center, which is these 3 icons over here. We have our little mail icon, which can be for instant messages or for email. And if you actually click on the email, it'll open up the email tool. And the nifty thing about this tool is that when you email from it, it emails their Marywood email, and then any responses to this email come to your Marywood email. So it's a good way to like step off and interact with your students, but then you could just keep the conversation going in Gmail instead of through Brightspace. So you can add any people that you need to up here in the recipient field, and then the subject, if you're in a course and use this mail feature, which we will show, it'll have your course name at the beginning so the students know what course it's coming from. But if you use the email tool from the communication center, it'll likely default to Marywood U. You can get rid of that though.
Riley, one quick question there. Will the messages get saved to our sent folders from there as well?
They will stay here in your Brightspace sent mail. If you want to include yourself as like a BCC, so you get it to your Marywood email as well, you can.
Okay.
So by default, it will send here though.
And you can also, in the settings, you can set it up to like always send a copy to yourself, so you don't have to remember to do it every time.
That's true. So I will show that real quick. When you click on the email tool over here on settings, it should bring up a bunch of very specific settings. So you can send a copy of each outgoing message to you. So I have that checked. So anything I would send goes straight to me anyway. And of course, there's a signature option as well. Are there any other questions before I continue? Alrighty. So you can change your subject, you can add whoever you need to, add CC or BCC, and then you have a bunch of tools that you will find very familiar as you go through Brightspace. These tools are largely the same through every text box you will interact with, whether that be a module description, an assignment introduction, or anything like that. These tools will most likely be there. Some of them may look a little different, as we'll discuss with some of the assignment tools and things like that. But for the most part, you'll see things like insert image and quick links. When we get into the actual text boxes of our courses, we will see insert stuff. So we have a lot of stuff to cover. We have insert image, which is just, you can add from your computer, or you can add a URL from like Google Images, or if you have organization files like from the university, you may find them in here. And then we also have Quicklinks, which is Kat and I's favorite thing ever. This lets you link to anything in your courses. So if you wanted to email a group of students and just say, hey, check out this assignment, it's due on Friday, I need submissions, then you can just link to that direct assignment. Because I'm not in a course, it won't show up, but when we do get into the course and look at the email tool, you will see those things pop up. And you could do quick links across emails and then also announcements, which is great. And any description or text box in your course, you could use quick links. We also have things like insert line, emoticons, all the important things. And then any alignments or bolds, italics, underlines. And then at the bottom, we also have like our spell checker, an accessibility checker. We can also just directly edit the HTML. So everything down there is also useful in its own way. And then before we click out of here, we have attachments, so you could upload files if you need to, and then you could also record video and audio if you would like to discuss in that manner instead of by text. So any questions about the emails so far, or the text boxes?
How do you email the whole class?
Oh yes, I can show you that very quickly. So you'd have to go into a course, first of all. It's probably the easiest way to do it. And then once you get into that course, I have a different Navbar, but over in Tools, you'll see Classlist, and that is the same as your participants list in Moodle. And then once you're in here, you could just email Classlist, and it brings up a separate little window where you can pick who you actually want to, well, actually it doesn't let you pick, you just see who you're going to email. And once you click send email, it brings up the actual email window, and that's how you actually email your course. And it puts the course name in the beginning, so you know.
And it also puts all the students as the BCCs to better support FERPA and such.
Yeah, so that's really nice. Just automatically does that for you.
Riley, you can show the quick link.
Yeah.
You read my mind.
Now that I'm here. So I mentioned quick links. This will be a lot more useful because I actually have things to show. So if I click on quick links, I can do anything from like announcements, or even if I scroll down, self-enrollment groups. So if I wanted to show them where they can enroll in groups, if I'm using those, you can use a link directly to the group sign up page, which is great. One of the things I feel like you'll use most is maybe this assignments one. And when you click on it, it shows you all of the assignments in the course that you're in. So if I want to give an update on free write number 3, I just click on it and there's a link to it. And if I send this out, they can click on that link. It'll bring them straight to the assignment page for free write number 3. So just real quick with the self-enrollment groups, I think I do have some in here. And if I don't, yeah, I don't. I will later today, though, and we could talk about groups. You can add the link to self-enrollment groups. They click on the link, and then they can sign up for groups. So it's a lot less describing where to find the tool and where to click on things. Just makes things easier for the students.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Riley, is there a limit to the, if you do an audio or video message, is there a limit to the amount of time that takes?
I know the video notes are 30 minutes. So I want to say that it's the same for the attachments. So
I'm pretty sure.
30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So no more trying to cram everything into 2 minutes if you're really desperate. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be concise. You can be as long-winded as you want to, which is beautiful. I think it's a beautiful thing. So moving right along, in our communication center, we also have subscription notifications or subscription alerts. And this is where any of your discussion posts that you get subscriptions for will like flag. So whenever you post to a forum, it automatically subscribes. So if you're replying to a student, I'm pretty sure it'll subscribe for you. You can change that, but it'll just put a little orange dot up here on this specific icon and say in here which discussions have new posts. So it's not too intrusive, but it will show an orange dot when you have something new.
Also super exciting is that discussions now have @ mentions, so you can tag a student in the discussion and it will show up in the notification here.
And I'll make sure to turn that on before tomorrow when we talk about discussions.
Yes, I'm real excited about it, guys. It just came out last night. Just
oh yeah, we also have word count. We have word count on discussions now too, which is great. So if you grade your discussions based on word count, that is now a thing you can view, and we'll show that tomorrow as well. And then finally, in this discussion, or sorry, communication area, we have the update alerts, which is everything else other than discussions. So if you look here, I have a couple things about assignments that are due. It's giving me little notifications, and I get an orange dot when I see something new. And students will also see little notifications here if you update content and choose to notify them, which we will probably talk about. And any like new things that you add will probably update here as well. Now, last on the mini bar, we have, oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry, there's no question. You click on the name and you have a couple things you could do here. So up at the top, you can view a student when you're in your course, which is nice if you want to view something from the student perspective, especially like the assignment upload page, so you can give some instructions on how to actually do that. You can view as a student whenever you like in your course, but you could also add things to your profile, like a bio, a picture. We also have the portfolio for e-portfolio sort of things. And then the most important thing I would say is the notifications here. It's also important to know where it is because students will need to set up their own notifications. Unlike in Moodle, where announcements would automatically send an email to them, they will have to set up notifications to go to their email if they so choose. So if you would like your announcements to go to your students via email, you might want to advise them to set up their notifications appropriately. So here on the notifications page, we do have a little ad for the Pulse app, which is Brightspace's app equivalent, and it's really great. Maybe we will talk about that at some point, but it's very cool. Very nice. Much better than the Moodle one. We also have the area for your email address, which automatically populates, and we have an area to register your mobile number if you'd rather get like text notifications about some things. The nice thing about these notifications, though, is that they are completely like voluntary, so you do not have any automatically set notifications. You set them all on your own. So I currently have email notifications set up for announcements. So whenever a new announcement is available, I will get an email about it. And I just check the box next to whatever I wanted an email notification for, and just click save at the bottom. And there's everything from assignments and content. So if something is created or updated, you guys can if you like, or discussions and any grades that are released, things like that. We also have the option to exclude some courses. So if you keep getting notifications about the Brightspace Basics course, maybe you want to add that here. We've had some questions about it. But if you want to exclude some courses, either because you don't want to see them come up in your notifications or whatever it may be, you just click Manage My Course Exclusions and just click the X on whatever course you want to stop getting notifications for. You could also reenact or re-enable rather the notifications when you want them back. So it's not like you're deleting the course by any means. So does anyone have any questions about the notifications area? All right, just make sure to click save and you're good.
If Riley goes back to the home page, we do also have a direct link to direct your students to right here. So you don't even have to guide them to say like, oh, go to your profile and click notifications. We put it right there on the home page. So all you have to do is say that.
Yeah, just log in and you'll see it.
Log in. And it's the first blue text on the page.
Yeah. I know we're running a little bit on time. I will just say that account settings, when you click on your name, helps with like font sizes across the website and also any accessibility items such as changing like dialog boxes to pop-up windows to help screen readers and things like that. So any very specific sort of account-wide settings would be here under your name. So on this green bar right below the mini bar is what we call the Navbar, and this changes from the home page to your courses. So the home page has some things like My Brightspace where you can look at your rewards. So if you completed Brightspace Basics, you'll see your rewards here. The calendar shows all of your course due dates and availability dates. So if you want to see everything at like an eagle's eye view, then calendar would be great. You can see some class progress, take a look at the Learning Object Repository, LOR, and then the portfolio area as well. We also have this handy dandy Discover tab, which is for all of those department and club pages. Students can self-enroll into any of these. I mean, they'll probably pick the ones that are most relevant to them, but There's things in here like the MSDI Resource Center for Nutrition Dietetics. We also have our own EdTech Resources Center. So this will be populated with all kinds of good things, all kinds of documentation that we've sent out in the past and other such. So if you wanted to find this resource page, it's here in the Discover tab. And if you just clicked on it, you can open the course automatically and just go right in or enroll in it if you haven't already. And that's here on the Discover tab.
If anybody advises a club or whatnot, or if you wanted to set one up for like your program page, you just have to put in a help desk request. If you actually want to open it, Riley, we do set these club pages up a little different. So that way the students have a visual identifier that it's not a course page. So we use this visual table of contents. So there's still an announcement module if you need it, and these are the content areas. So it looks visually different for them. But
yeah,
that way they know where they are if they forgot or something. So yeah, we have clubs setting them up, and like Riley showed there, the department pages. So if you think of a use for anyone, then let us know.
Yeah, we'll set you up. All right. So back to the home page, Navbar. We also have the portfolio area again and the calendar, so they're a little bit more visible. We also have Quick Eval, which is a nice quick way to look at the grading items for all of your courses. So it could be a little overwhelming, but it's very cool. LOR again, and we also have this help area where you can view video tutorials and documentation, go to the Brightspace community, and even do a system check or submit a help desk ticket. So the system check is kind of like, where is your system in relation to what Brightspace requires? And if all the checks are passed, then you should be at optimum levels for Brightspace. So it's just a nice little thing to check out. Usually computers are pretty good because Brightspace doesn't demand too much. And then that's pretty much it for the Navbar in the homepage. When we get to courses a little bit later today, you'll see that it will change. And most courses have the same Navbar. Mine does not, so I'm not going to look at it, but I'm going to look at my own course where it's actually the same as everyone else's. It starts off with content, and then we have individual tools for assignments and discussions, your grade book, class progress, and even Zoom. So everything else that you might need is here in tools, and you can just kind of scroll through it and choose what you need. But for the most part, these are your most popular items for your course. And then just finishing up the home page in our last 7 minutes, we have that email and text settings up at the top, like we mentioned, but also we have a link to Brightspace Pulse. So if you want to download it, if you're on your phone, you can download it from this little link here. We also have announcements that are site-wide. So if you see anything here, it's probably important. You may also get an email notification if you signed up for that. But they're here, and you can dismiss them if you don't want to see them anymore. So if you've already filled this out or you've already listened to it and you don't really want to look at it, you can just click the X and there's no announcements. It's not like you deleted it or anything, you just kind of dismissed it from your view. On the left here, we have our help desk chat, and if this is green and says that ETS is here, that means someone is going to respond to you. If no one's available, it'll just say it's offline, so you don't have to type something and then no one will talk to you. If you have a quick question, you can just kind of type it in here and someone will get back to you either with a helpful sort of bit of advice, or they will put in a ticket for you. So now it's offline, you could tell. On the right, we have the My Courses widget, which is just the Waffle icon, but in a more visual state. We also have it separated by semesters. So if you're looking for your fall 2021s, they'll also just be in one section, and you can go to like your sandboxes. If you've moved your Moodle content over, you can look at those. Any clubs and departments that you have enrolled in. So, you know, I have a bunch because I'm an admin, but those would appear here.
One of the nice things down here is, in addition to like this quick overview, you can see the updates to your course. So if you look at those courses, you can see there's 13 assignments there, and you can see there's discussions there. So if you happen to be going on, you're like, you don't have to actually go into your course to see if students started submitting things. You can have that overview here.
Yeah.
And that's only down here. Yeah, and at this point, we cannot change the order of these tabs.
Mm-hmm. So just make sure you're looking at the term.
Yes. We cannot change the order or the terms at this point unless we come up with an archive process. So, but I'm not sure how far back we'd want to archive yet. That's just why we have not done it.
Yeah.
You would still have access to them. They would just show up on like a tab that says archived.
Yeah, and I would just say, like, if you wanted to keep all of your like fall 2021 courses just like easily accessible, I'd probably just pin them all, because there's also a section for that, and then you could see them all here. You have that option to pin down here as well. It's just kind of here in the 3 dots icon, and then once it's pinned, it'll have that icon on it for you. Let's see. Oh, this will also have like beginning and end dates. So you may see your fall 2021 courses here, and they'll say starting August 16th, because they get a full week before courses actually start to access the course shell. And then they have 2 weeks after the course ends to access the shell as well. So you may see like an extended period of time for the course, but that's because Brightspace allows them extra access before and after.
And it makes your life slightly easier because you do not have to hide and unhide your courses.
Yeah.
This does it automatically. So when that course start date shows up, your course is visible to students. So if there's something you don't want them to see or is still a work in progress, you would just mark that module as hidden when you're in your actual course. But that way, you know, they should be able to get in and see the syllabus and whatnot, and then they'll have the extra time after the semester in case they were late or anything like that. And there's a whole separate process for incompletes that we do on our side so they can access it past that course end date.
All right, last 2 things on here are the calendar, again, but just in a visual format. And then down here is our Brightspace orientation, which if you've signed in recently, you've probably seen it, but it's that little overlay of slides. There's 10 of them, and this is available for students as well. So if you want to tell them to click on that Brightspace orientation, it tells them where to find their courses, how
There's
to
only
pin
5
them.
for each of you because we're admins. We see the 5 for faculty and the 5 for students.
So I will say, if you want to get rid of it completely, you do want to go click next until it's done and then dismiss it. If you just exit out, it'll come up every time. So that's a tip. But yeah, you could go through and look at all of the different steps, all of the different slides. There's links to the Brightspace Pulse app and tech support, all that fun stuff.